another episode of Magical Life with me, Yashodhara. This whole show is about bringing people together in a way, finding people who are actually very talented and amazing and bringing them all together and telling their stories, their journeys and their ups and downs and making them more relatable to you so that you get to know how and why they're exactly pursuing what they are right now in their lives. And in today's episode, we have a very special person, Arghadeep Barua. He is an actor, a musician, a storyteller. That's the least to say about him actually. There's tons more actually to tell about him. So he debuted in a very internationally acclaimed Assamese feature film called Amis, The Ravening, and it was presented by Anurag Kashyap, right? And it went to the Tribeca Film Festival and it was globally acclaimed. So tell me about your journey, Arghadeep.
First of all, I don't believe in adjectives, all the adjectives that you use, I feel that we all are the soil of this land, Matir Mano.
Yeah.
And in every moment, the universe gives you some role.
Yeah.
And you just have to play it. I sometimes feel that people have this tendency of positioning themselves कि मैं actor हूँ, मैं singer हूँ, या फिर मैं doctor हूँ या engineer हूँ. But at the end of the day, everyone has got this role to play. So I think at this point of time, I'm a storyteller.
You might change.
It might change. You never know.
Yeah. So that's actually very interesting. That's a very interesting thought. I mean, our courses of lives change because a situation, for example, take the pandemic. I mean, who knew that would come and everything changed. So the universe shows you the path, you take the opportunity, you make a different self for yourself and you make it useful basically.
Absolutely.
That is how.
Absolutely.
So did you always want to be a musician or an actor or what was it? What did you like? How did you come here?
So to be really honest, I never thought of becoming an actor. It was just an accident. But I feel that again, the universe shows at that point of time I should be doing that sort of thing. So it just came into my life out of the blue. And primarily I'm a film student.
Okay.
So telling stories through different mediums. There will be music or films. And thanks to Amis, I realized that acting can also be a very interesting way of telling stories. So I still categorize myself, if I have to, any sense.
Yeah. Of all forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, so you were a film student. What did you study?
I did my...
Did you always want to be a film student? I mean, were you pushed at any point, you become a doctor or an engineer, like all of us have been?
So I had all the misconceptions when I was in my school. I chose commerce because I thought by choosing it, I can become an advertising filmmaker. But then I realized this is totally a wrong concept that I had in my mind. So while I was doing my graduation, I started taking some short-term courses on photography, videography, editing. So that's how my interest towards filmmaking grew. But thankfully, I always had this environment in our home that my father is a big fan of starlets like Satyajit Ray, then Minal Singh, Ritik Khatok, and then Tarkovsky. So all these things, all these sort of discussions, I always had the opportunity to be a part of it. The environment was always there. But I never thought, because I was a very, I won't say naughty, but somehow I was a very restless sort of a child. So I just enjoyed my life that way.
You had a lot of energy and you didn't know how to channelize it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're channelizing it now in a way by telling stories. That's actually a very, very nice way of channelizing the energy. And so tell me, what are you doing during COVID? I mean, the last 1 or 2 years have been really escalating for you. I mean, you rapidly grew in your career.
Grace of the universe, I believe.
So, what happened after COVID? What's the story? Have it been the same? No. Yeah.
Things change. I mean, as a band also, the Bottle Rockets India, we also
Oh
started
yeah, he's
picking
in a
up.
band too. Musician. Yeah.
So our
Bottle
band,
Rockets.
yeah. So the band was picking up just before COVID. The things that we planned were finally, getting some direction, and then only COVID happened. So things were difficult and are still difficult, I believe. But somehow the initial part of COVID was very relaxing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it was like a break
yeah,
from everything.
from all the
Much needed
hustle and bustle.
vacation.
And thankfully, prior to that, I'm also a part of an organization called Healing Forest, and which helps people heal and also helps forest heal. So we take people for forest walks, and we let them stay there and channelize their energy, being in the forest environment. Yeah.
That's so calming, I believe.
Yeah, it is very calming.
You are a person of the soil. I mean, like that truly applies to you.
Yeah. We also had few sessions just before the lockdown. So I was carrying that sense of calm throughout for the first 1 month. But then suddenly, thanks to our government and the new policies that it came up with, like the EIA or the whole amount of forest clearances that they gave during this lockdown, apart from the lockdown thing that they did. So it really disturbed me and also the people with whom I'm associated, because, like I said, being a Matir Manu, being a Matir Manu, when you see that your place of love is getting exploited, or you're extracting it illegally, so that really disturbs you. And at that time only we had this whole Salik issue, the Dibang issue.
Yes.
So that's how I got into a new way of looking forest and environment. I won't say activism, but yes, somehow.
Some sort of.
Yeah. Getting into raising voice for the voiceless.
Trees.
And also,
I mean, that's a noble cause. I mean, and you slowly gaining, you're becoming renowned in this area, and you have a voice now, and people will listen to you. And that is so responsible of you to actually use that voice in a positive, useful, meaningful way. I mean, to actually protect something which cannot be protected by itself.
Yeah. I mean, they will find their way for sure, because they have been all these years and ages. But I think at some point of time you have to understand that.
You have to, yeah.
Because there are certain species who are very endemic to certain areas. And when you start exploiting those areas, then once those species are gone, then they're gone forever. So nature will come back, because there's nothing bigger than nature.
Yeah.
But at least for those rare endangered species who cannot, raise their voice for themselves, I think we can do this much at least.
Of course, yeah. I'm so happy. And what else do you do? Tell me, like you are into so many things. You have to.
I mean, so yeah, after doing my masters, I was a part of a fellowship called Green Hub. So they are an interesting initiative based in Facebook. It's an initiative of Dusty Food Productions Delhi. It's a wildlife production house and Northeast Network. So each year they select 20 individuals across Northeast and then train them in community-based and wildlife filmmaking, and also in a way they also help them to find out ways which are more sustainable, to a sustainable livelihood. So after 3 months training, each individual gets a chance to work with various organizations. So this is how my journey has been with Green Hub, and recently also I am doing a documentary for them on folk musicians and how folk.
Is that what you were currently doing? And we had to pull him for the interview, Arghadeep, please come, make it for this one.
Thank you.
Sorry to have disturbed you.
That's okay.
But I hope it's going well.
So
what is it about?
So it's basically about the folk musicians primarily. So prior to this film, I was helping another initiative called Unheard Foundation.
Unheard.
Unheard Foundation.
Okay.
So it's a Delhi-based initiative, And what they do is like they have this whole idea of taking the studio to the folk musicians. So what happens usually is that many folk musicians, live in
that's
outskirts,
like,
and villages.
studios about that, yeah.
Sort
like
of
it's
that.
the ulta.
So I mean, they visit this folk musicians in interior parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat, and then they record them and help them get their music, get a platform. So during COVID, they were also helping many folk musicians who were below poverty level, so getting them relief. So I was helping them in finding musicians from Northeast. So through that process only we met this person called Sunanda Bonia, who is a Dhulia.
Okay.
So we're working on the documentary on him and his journey.
And we are working on your journey. As you're working on somebody else's journey.
Yeah, it's all about journey and how the glitch in the matrix connects it.
Yes, right. I totally believe in when you meet somebody and all of that, it's like it's bound to happen somehow or the other. There is a plan, a greater plan. We shouldn't be resisting the plan. Okay, let's not go into the spiritual stuff. I mean,
at some point of time, spirituality is the way towards a better world.
So, okay, fine. When did you awaken to spirituality? Was there always a spiritual side to you, or did you awaken to it naturally?
So it's a very personal thing of this whole spiritual journey. I think now Proctin is shooting.
Yeah.
You are taking this interview. So all this is also a part of the greater spiritual journey. How you take it, every work you do itself is a spiritual journey. So you're always part of that cycle and that journey. It's just that you have to recognize it at some point of time.
Yes.
Acknowledging it.
So when that's what I was asking. When did you actually start? Most people don't. I've seen that people in the rat races, they don't really realize. They continue living that cycle without really becoming aware of what everything's about. Do you recognize a point of time in life when you might have actually recognized that?
I don't know. I again believe in universe, and I somehow thought I feel that Green Hub has played a very important role in that because I feel that in every walk of life you find a riverman. Have you read this book called Siddhartha by Herman Hesse?
No.
So it's an amazing book. So I'm fortunate enough that universe has been kind, and it has always helped me come across rivermen in this journey many times. So I think tick 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 tick. Even the lizard is agreeing to it.
That's a saying, right? Yeah.
So yeah, I feel when I was in Green Hub, I think that's when I actually started acknowledging the whole idea of the spiritual journey. Because though I always had this, my grandma from both the sides have been very spiritual. I won't say religious, but they were very spiritual.
Yeah, religion is a different thing from spirituality. Most people don't realize the difference in it.
So that's how I think Green Hub has played a very important role in that process. Because I met some of my very important rivermen during this process.
Yeah, riverman.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a nice term to give to those people who really, wake you up somehow and show you.
Yeah, I think more than the people is the energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
The energy.
They also give you,
Yes.
So one of the best thing about nature is that they are so imperfect. At the same time, they're so giving. It actually imbibes the idea of humility.
Imperfect. And that's how we are. Aren't we? Humans, that's how we are supposed to be. Imperfect, yet we are, we should be giving. That's something which most people forget. Realize, and they live lives and complete their own life cycle.
self becomes more important in our life. You know? Self is so much driven by desires.
Yes. Yeah. Getting out of that cycle of just, the desires. Oh my God, we went on to a completely different topic.
But yeah, that's why we should spend more time in nature, because they're so selfless. And selfless doesn't mean you should be, even in selfless there is self,
Yes.
but the idea is how you decrease the amount of self from your life.
Selfless.
Yeah. So there will be self always, because if there is no self, there is no body.
No body.
So there will be self.
Oh wow, this has been such an interesting conversation. And like, what else? What's your plan for the future? What? Or you do not have a plan? I think you're the kind of person who doesn't have a plan really.
He knows me better, it seems.
I said the right thing again. Yeah. So you just want to go with the flow basically.
Yeah, I like the river.
Making its own way though. Rivers are powerful, they cut through mountains and rocks and everything. I mean, powerful will is needed for that.
But they're calm also at the same time.
But they could be.
Yeah, they could be. That's what nature is all about. Everything in nature is like that only. The duality will be there.
Yes. I don't know what else to say anymore. This has been such a casual, candid and relaxed chat, seriously. I mean, this has been different from the other episodes, I'd say. I mean, that's a very special one, I'd say. Yeah, guys, this was Arghadeep, and there's so much more that, that time would not allow us to tell about him. You can... How do people get in contact with you, like your Instagram?
Listen to our music. That's a good way to connecting with us, because we feel that it's also a reflection of us. So yeah, if you want to really dig deep, you can listen to our music.
And you have an Instagram.
Yeah.
Please tell me what's the meaning of your handle. I have been that has been ringing in my head over and over for the last 3 days.
So Ajantric means non-materialistic or unmaterialistic, and Jajawar is a wanderer.
Non-materialistic wanderer.
Yeah.
That totally defines him.
And Ajantric also happens to be a very favorite film of my father and myself too. We pick Khatak.
Okay.
So yeah.
This is a special person, guys. Like you need to follow him on Ajantric Jajawar. Yeah, that's his handle. And I'm glad to have spoken to you.
Thank you, same here.
And thank you for making it here all the way from there while you were actually shooting and.
It's always fun to share goodness, I believe.
It is. This was such a feel-good conversation. Seriously, I can't tell you through the camera how I'm feeling right now. So yeah, guys, thank you so much, and I hope you really liked our chat this time, and I hope you learned a few things from this amazing man here. So thank you, and I'll see you soon, very soon. Bye bye.